We got some breaking news for the Miami Heat. There is a report out there from Charania that the Miami Heat are open to listening to trade offers for Jimmy Butler. We have talked a lot about Butler trade rumors over the last 4 or 5 months, ever since Pat Riley did not give him that 2-year supermax extension in the offseason, and it feels like things may be heading towards that direction. We'll talk all about that. But first, let's talk about what Shams Charania said exactly in his article that he dropped this morning with a lot of trade rumors, not just on the Miami Heat. He said that the Heat are open to listening to offers for Butler and making a deal if the proposal is right. And Butler's agent, Bernie Lee, has indicated in league circles that Butler is open to destinations such as the two of the Texas teams, Houston Rockets and Dallas Mavericks, and the Golden State Warriors. Butler is a native of Houston, Texas. Above all, though, he is believed to prefer a win-now title contender in any trade. And before I get my reaction to this trade report from Shams Charania, I want to get yours. Be honest with me. What was your one-word reaction to the Jimmy Butler report when you saw it on Twitter or saw it just on YouTube for the first time that we just read off? Let me know your one word. My one word? Confused. For a lot of different reasons. One reason is Shams Charania is well known for not having a lot of sources in Miami. And if we're going to be honest, all of the national reporters don't really have sources in Miami. Pat Riley does not share information with the big-time reporters out there. He always gives it out to the Bear Jacksons of the world, the Miami local guys that are in the building consistently. So to me, if Shams Charania is getting these news and reports, and I don't think he's making it up, by the way, it would likely be coming from Jimmy Butler. It would likely be coming from his agent, Bernie Lee, like he name-dropped in that message. So to me, I don't really know if this is actually coming from the Miami Heat or if it's coming from Jimmy Butler. Could this be a subtle shot from Jimmy saying that he wants to be traded and wants to put out a rumor and report out there that there could be a trade happening? I don't know, man. I will say this, though. I have been on the trade Jimmy Butler train for about a month now. Once I realized that this team is not going to be able to win a championship, and Jimmy Butler, with his aging 35-year-old body, is not able to be a number one option on a championship team and give you that required effort in the regular season to be a top 5, top 6 seed consistently, I've wanted him to be traded. But like I just said a second ago, I'm a little skeptical of this report being true, at least from the Miami Heat side of things inside their organization. I don't think Shams Charania would have gotten that report from the Heat. If he gets that report, I'm going to reemphasize this. It's likely coming from Jimmy or his agent. And obviously, how would they know that the Heat are open to trading him? Unless they went out and told Jimmy that, which I don't think they did. But we talk a lot about how Butler is not the same guy anymore. You see bits and flashes, but you do not see it on a consistent basis. And you see the games played. He's never been able to play more than 65 games, and his points per game is slowly going down, and he's relying a lot more on jump shooting. Now, he is getting more efficient around the rim this year and compared to some other seasons a couple years. But here's my thing. I like Jimmy. I think he's still a top 25 player in the NBA without a question. And when it comes down to postseason time, light beam pointing at Earth, the Martians are ready to wipe out existence. You give me a list of players that I would want to win one game, Jimmy Butler is going to be in the top 5 of that list because of how clutch he is, and we've just seen it time over time. I want to see him win a championship with the Miami Heat. I want to see him retire a member of the Heat organization. But when you think about what is best for this team in the future, I really start to think you get towards trading Jimmy Butler. And I want the people who disagree with that statement to ask yourself this. There's a series of questions that I asked myself, and it's the reason why I have come to the conclusion that I think they should trade Jimmy if the proposal from a different team is right. Number one question, can the Heat win a title right now with Jimmy Butler on this roster and the way this core is currently constructed? I don't think they can. When you look across the league, if they got matched up with the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series, would they be able to win? I don't think so unless a major injury occurs to Boston. Would they be able to do it against the New York Knicks? I got to be honest, I don't think they'd be able to beat the New York Knicks in a 7-game series in the postseason. Would they be able to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder? I don't think so. Would they be able to beat the Dallas Mavericks? I don't know. Like, you start to get to the top teams in each conference and you start to ask yourselves, do the Heat have a chance to win these series? I don't know if they do. And when you looked across the league just a couple of years ago, when you talk about a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, who are constantly top 2, top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets when they had KD, Kyrie, and Harden, like, I thought the Heat could compete with them. But when you look at the Celtics, you look at the Knicks, the Thunder, the Mavericks, they are just so much better than you and such a matchup issue for your currently constructed roster that is the reason why I think there is no chance this team can win a championship. Can they win a playoff series in the first round and maybe make noise in the second round? Yes, but overall, winning an actual title, I don't think they're there anymore, and that's the reason why I'd be open to changing this roster as a whole. All right, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are the #1 Heat YouTube channel out there. We are on the road to 16K subscribers. We have daily videos here. We'll break down news, rumors, everything in between, as well as go live for every single Miami Heat basketball game. So hit that sub button. Question number 2 I want you to ask yourself. Are you extending Jimmy Butler? Because he does have 1 year left on his contract. It is a player option, and all signs point to him opting out of that contract because he is eligible for 1 more supermax extension because you cannot sign a supermax extension if you were past the age of 35 in the new CBA, and he is 35. So he has to do it now, and that 2-year supermax extension is as followed. 25-26, which is next season. He's under contract for $52 million on that player option, but he wants a 2-year guaranteed contract, which would give him a pay bump to $55 million. And then in 26-27, you're adding that 1 more year to his deal at $58 million. So realistically, the contract he wants is a 2-year, $113 million supermax extension. And like I asked, are you extending Jimmy Butler with that contract? Are you allotting $55+ million to someone who does not give you maximum effort in every single regular season game? Body is breaking down. His game does not kind of point towards being sustainable in his older age because he is not an elite jump shooter and he is not an elite three-point marksman. Are you comfortable giving him that contract with all of those other symptoms that I just said? I don't know if I am giving him that contract at this point from what I've seen, which is why I keep on pointing to him being traded. We'll get to our third reason in question plus more in just a second. But we are sponsored by Game Time, the #1 ticketing app out there. And if you want to go see the Miami Heat play in person with Jimmy Butler before he potentially gets traded, Game Time is the best way to do that. They have so many great features that make purchasing tickets so easy. One being Game Time Picks. Filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They also have all-in pricing, which shows you the total price of your ticket up front rather than getting blindsided by fees at checkout. They also make it easy to purchase tickets on the app. You can purchase with Apple Pay. You can purchase with your card. You can purchase in so many different ways that make it easy just to get your tickets at the tip of your fingers. That's what I do when I go to live events, a.k.a. Mets, Dodgers, NLCS. So listen, I will tell you a lot about it. LSU, USC, Week 1. When I go to live events, I use Game Time. And they're offering a great deal for the fans here at the Heat Report. When you download the app and sign up and create an account, use code CHATSPORTS and get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, first purchase only. But once again, code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. What time is it? It's game time. All right, the third question when you ask yourself about Jimmy Butler. What is the Heat's future? This was once a question that did not have to be asked or answered. But now it does need to be asked and answered. Because in year 2, I'm not giving up on him, but Jaime Jaquez Jr. has not been good. The league has figured him out. Jaquez has been a non-factor in these games. There has been times where he has a stretch of good play, but in terms of actually being a cornerstone piece of a franchise, I don't know if he can be that anymore. Is he still going to be a high-leverage role player? Yes, that is bare minimum. But a potential all-star and top 3, top 4 guy like we thought he could be after his rookie season, I don't think that's on the table anymore. Nikola Jovic is out of the rotation for the Miami Heat. The Heat's young core looks average. Yes, you're seeing leaps from Tyler Hero, but be honest, Kel'el Ware is in the G League right now. We haven't seen anything out of him in the first 22, 25 games of the season. Jaquez has taken a regression. Jovic hasn't taken a step forward. The what was once promising Heat young core does not look that way anymore. And if you are looking towards the future of this team, even if you do keep Jimmy Butler, what is going to be the future? Because I don't think Jaquez, Jovic, and Ware have shown you enough to believe they are that future right now. It's Bam and Tyler. So could you potentially trade Jimmy Butler for young pieces, draft picks, and start to build up a future of this Heat team post Jimmy Butler and just do it a little bit sooner rather than later? That's a conversation that needs to be had. And that's kind of why I've gotten to the point where you might need to trade Jimmy Butler. But there is a question of where could he be traded? And you saw the report earlier from Charania, and we're going to break it down right now. There are 3 interested teams potentially in Butler, and Butler interest in them. Those 3 teams all being in the Western Conference, which, by the way, thank goodness, because if we trade Jimmy Butler inside the East and he balled on us in the postseason, I would actually never be able to recover from that. But it's Houston, Dallas, and Golden State. And when you think of these 3 teams, one of them feels like a sheep in wolves' clothing. There is no reason. I guess I said that backward. Wolves in sheep clothing. Either way, the Mavericks can't really trade for Jimmy. The CBA, the way their contracts are structured, it does not work. I also don't like what they could offer Miami. They don't really have young guys. They don't really have a lot of draft picks. It would have to be a massive 3-team trade, which maybe that works out in the Heat's favor, but it also probably invites a lot of chaos. I'm really only interested in potentially dealing with the Houston Rockets or Golden State Warriors anyway, if we're going to be honest. And before we talk about those 2 teams in just a second, what team would you trade Jimmy to? Now, you might have answered that you don't want to trade Jimmy earlier in the video, but if you had to see a trade notification for Jimmy Butler happen from Charania, what team are you hoping it is going to? Let me know that team down below. Let's look at the Houston Rockets trade assets now, because this is one of the teams that I want to deal with. They have Jalen Green, Reed Shepard, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, and they have 10 first-round picks. Not all of them are tradable, but I would say it would be interesting to see them deal with the Houston Rockets. I think I put Dylan Brooks on there because he's their largest contract out of Fred VanVleet, and we'd likely have to take on Brooks because we're not going to do VanVleet. But the reason why I like Houston is because you can do the Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, and one of those young guys plus 2 first-round picks for Jimmy Butler. And you get 2 first-rounders to help you trade in the future as well as make draft picks. You get 1 young guy, whether it's Amen Thompson, Reed Shepard, Jabari Smith, to add to this Heat young core, see if you can develop them, and you get the salary filler. That is why I think Houston makes a lot of sense in my opinion. The other team that makes sense, in my opinion, Golden State, the Warriors. They are looking to add a star next to Steph Curry, and I think Jimmy Butler could be that guy. There's only really 3 players that I would expect to come back to Miami in a potential trade. 2 of them will be on this list because you have to have Andrew Wiggins in the deal to match salary. There's not a lot of big contracts in Golden State. So Wiggins would likely be coming to Miami, and it would probably be one of these 2 young guys. Would it be Jonathan Kuminga or Brandon Podziemski? If you're Golden State, it's probably Jonathan Kuminga because he is a free agent this upcoming offseason, and he is likely set to check in on a payday with $30 million plus a season. And then they have 2 tradable first-round picks. So to me, if you were dealing with Golden State, it would be Wiggins, one of these 2, and then those 2 tradable first-round picks in 26 and 28. And Kuminga intrigues me. I will be honest. He's athletic. He's 6'9". He's a 20-point-per-game scorer. And if he gets the right shooting down with this Heat developmental system, he can really take another step. But the issue is you do have to pay him this offseason right away. I do prefer Houston, though. Like I said, I think Golden State has a decent offer. But I like the Rockets' offer better because you are getting one of their younger players. You do not have to pay them $30+ million anytime soon, or at least this offseason. You could also likely get 2 first-round picks because they have so money to trade. I think it makes the most sense to deal with the Houston Rockets. Jimmy is from Houston. I think it would be fun to watch Butler work with that young core on the Rockets as well. I think it would be fun to watch him in Golden State too. And I would be rooting for him wherever he gets traded and hoping he's able to win a championship. Would it hurt that he didn't get one with Miami? Yes, but I love Jimmy. I think he's the 3rd best player in Heat history, and I want him to succeed at the end of his career. I just don't think it makes sense for the Heat and Jimmy to remain married together as they continue to end the next 2 or 3 years. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. It was a long one, I know that, but thank you for watching. And if you're still watching and aren't subscribed, you clearly like what we're doing, so hit that sub button. I'm Nic Rohloff. We're dropping content on the daily surrounding the Miami Heat. Even though it might be a rocky next month and a half or so before the deadline, it'll always be Go Heat.